All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in today's session. We are super excited to actually have you in today's session. And this session is actually more or less like a town hall session for the community, meaning that when planning this session, we'll be looking at, okay, beyond the technical skills that we've been discussing since beginning of the year, can we have a non-technical session in which we can address challenges and issues that people are having. So that is actually the sole purpose of this session. And this session, myself and my other colleague, Madam Joy, will actually be anchoring the session. The session will actually divide it into two. There's a session that I'll be handling on leveraging Microsoft Applied Skills for your cloud security career. And the second session that Madam Joy will be handling is on Ask Me Anything sessions on cloud security, meaning that here you can actually ask any question. And earlier during the week, we sent out a form for people to fill out. So if you feel like you don't want to like unmute your mic, you will still like to ask questions, right? You can use that form. We are picking the questions from the form. If you feel like you don't want to actually, unmute your mic. Yeah, so that is how the sessions is going to go. So welcome to Microsoft Nigeria Security Group, where we talk about everything on cloud security and cyber security. And in today's session, we have two amazing sessions. The first session is leveraging Microsoft Applied Skills for your cloud security career. And the second session is Ask Me Anything session on cloud security career. So let's move ahead. So I'll be introducing our speaker today. So our speaker is Joy Emedom, sorry. So she has over 13 years of experience as a cybersecurity professional. She's a data protection manager and also is a cybersecurity solution architect. She's also the co-founder of Mama Shield, an initiative to help stay-at-home moms gain cybersecurity skills. She's a mentor, she's a trainer, a Microsoft certified trainer for that matter. She's also author. She has authored numerous books, and also she makes cybersecurity simple and accessible. So it is actually a pleasure to have her in this call because every question that you have on cybersecurity, she's actually here. Any question you have on cloud security, she's actually here to answer each and every of those questions. She's also a conference speaker and she has presented in major industry. She's also an award-winning cybersecurity expert. She's an active supporter of early career professionals through mentorship and community initiatives. So please, I want us to use the reaction button to actually appreciate our speaker today. Madam Joy, give her a round of applause. Use the reaction button in the teams to appreciate her for this session because she's actually a mom. For her to leave her kids to come and attend to us here. I mean, I don't know how she does it, to be honest, but I'm really super happy to have you here. Thank you so much, Madam Joy, for joining us here. You're talking on mute, actually.
It's always a pleasure to be in the community. Hello,
Thank you so
everybody.
yeah. You want to tell us something about your weather, where you are currently now? How is the weather in Ireland today? Yeah.
We're counting down to it's autumn, so we're counting down to winter. So the weather is becoming a bit cold, but it's fine. We'll survive.
Yeah, I think I was having a session yesterday with what's her name again? She works at Microsoft in Ireland. She was telling me that winter is here already, that summer summer everywhere is getting cold, right? Well,
Yes.
my weather is still very, very hot right here in Malta, actually. I have to be on AC to be honest. If not, I'll be sweating right now because the weather is really, really hot. The sun is actually facing me right now, even though it's just
Sorry.
about 4 p.m. my time. All right, awesome. So let's jump into the session. So the first session, we're talking about Microsoft Applied Skills, leveraging it as a cloud security professional. And the goal of this session basically is to actually enhance expertise in evolving cloud security field. Now, quickly, let me introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel Itoje. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I'm also a Microsoft Certified Trainer Community Lead for Nigeria and West Africa. I'm a Microsoft certified educator and as well as a technical architect with over 10 years of experience. So I have my experience cut across Microsoft 365, Azure AI, and cloud security. I'm also the co-lead for this community, Microsoft Nigeria Security User Group. So I'm a big fan of Microsoft certification. So you can see these are some of the Microsoft certification I have under cloud security category. And one of my goal for this year is to cover the entire cloud security certifications. At the moment, I have one more to go, which is SC 200. So I've covered, I think, a bit. And then I can now focus on the what we are discussing today, which is apply skills. At the moment, I've done just one Microsoft apply skills relating to cloud security. So I'm actually going to also share that with us in our demo today. Yeah, let's jump in. So in our agenda today, we're going to look at the overview of what Microsoft Apply Skills is. What are the benefits of earning Microsoft Apply Skills? What are the relevant, what are the relevance of cloud security professionals? How is Apply Skill actually relevant to us as a cloud security professional? And why Microsoft Apply Skills are also important in cloud security as a career, as well as we'll be having a question and answer for my question, which we also combine with the second session with Madam Joy. So what is actually Microsoft Apply Skill? Now, for Microsoft side, Microsoft Apply Skills is actually a way to validate practical skills, hands-on expertise with Microsoft technology. They are basically designed to bridge the gap between knowledge and the real world applications, which is actually to help professionals to demonstrate their ability to perform job functions effectively. Now, Microsoft introduces Apply Skills a couple of years ago. It's not replacing the current Microsoft certification credentials. You can see my credentials I have, but I'm moving into Apply Skills. Why? Because they are actually hands-on experience. So basically, in short, they are actually short, practical, and scenario-based assessments that actually test your ability to perform specific tasks, workflow in real time. So instead of answering multiple choice question, like in the case of the normal Microsoft certification, right? What you do is that you will complete a live task in a guided environment, proving that you can actually do the work because that's actually the goal of Microsoft there. So it's basically bridge the gap between knowledge and application. So beyond the theoretical knowledge that we are having when we go through the learning part, right? This in applied skills, we are able to actually demonstrate that we can actually perform the tasks because I'm going to show us it's like a scenario based, it will give you some tasks to do. And you first of all think about okay, they gave me a task to do, how am I going to achieve it? Like a real life scenario, I remember in my previous employment, there was a time our CEO was receiving a lot of spam emails from different email address and all that. So the email, I'll just send an email in an email tray. That's Manuel, look at this. CEO is receiving a spam email from this particular user. Treat it. So that is exactly how Microsoft Apply Skills are. They'll just tell you this is the problem, solve it. So it's now for you to now think from those theoretical experience that you had before. Okay, how do I solve this particular issue? That is what Microsoft Apply Skills is all about, right? So it actually enhances your physical, your practical skills. Okay, converting those theoretical knowledge that you have into a practical scenario. And the Apply Skills help professionals to actually showcase their their practical ability to perform practical job tasks efficiently. Why? Because in the real life scenario, it won't be a drag and drop you'll be doing, or you'll be clicking on option A is the correct answer. You'll be doing a real life thing. And as a cloud security professional, how do you demonstrate that real life thing? That is actually the purpose of the Microsoft Apply Skills. Now, in comparing it with the traditional skills that we have, for Microsoft Apply Skills, it focuses on practical skills. That means it's actually prioritize real world practical ability over solid theoretical knowledge. And also, it is relevant to modern roles. Today, whichever roles that you are in the cloud security field, the Microsoft Apply Skills can actually help you to become relevant in that particular skills because it's aligned closely with the demand of the fast-paced and evolving technologies careers. So in a career as a cloud security professional now, this apply skill is relevant. So if you are to compare between apply skills and the Microsoft certification, now the goal of the apply skills is to validate one specific skill. Unlike the normal Microsoft certification, it validates a broad technology proficiency. For example, now you want to write AZ104. AZ104 exam will validate your skills in identity and access. It will validate your skills in storage, in networking, in different areas. Whereas the Microsoft Apply skills will only validate in a specific skill. just one specific skill. And in terms of context, for Microsoft certification, it is majorly based on role based. It used to be in the old certificate that we have, the MCSE and the likes, MCSE, that has a different range of skill sets. Microsoft introduced the role base in, I think, in 2019, right? So that you can, okay, I want to be a Microsoft 365 administrator. So that will be the learning path you follow and you prepare for the exam. But in terms of applied skills, the content is actually project based. You'll be given a project, you have a demo environment, like a virtual machine you spin up, and you're doing those tasks based on the scenario that has been given you. And in terms of scope, for the applied skill, it is actually a breadth of skill. Different areas you want, they want you to know identity. Like I'm mentoring somebody in is a 500, for example. Now is a 500, which is Azure Security Engineer, covers identity and access, authentication, authorizations, covers Azure networking security, covers secure compute, secure database, secure storage, then covers and Sentinel, as well as Defender for Cloud. So those are a breadth of skills that you should have. But for applied skills, it is scenario specific skill sets. So applied skills for Sentinel is available. Applied skill for Defender for Cloud is available. So instead of you writing is a 500 that covers a broad range of skill sets, applied skills will just focus on one particular specific skills. And for formats, the exam format for Microsoft certification is based on interactive elements. So it could be they can give you a case study to study, then it will be maybe what is best applied to this. So you pick an answer, or yes and no answer, or drag and drop, or this thing. Applied skills is not like that. It's an assessment via an interactive lab experience. They will give you a scenario and you have to go into the lab. They will give you a lab environment, provision for that exam, an admin account, a user account. So you have to perform different lab experience. And for Microsoft certification, it is based on schedule. That means you have to schedule your exam ahead of time. You have to say, okay, I want to write this exam in the next 48 hours, next week, next 2 weeks, right? But in the case of applied skills, it's not like that. It is on demand. Just sign in and I want to do this assessment. Once you check that box, and it will spin up the lab environment for you, and you start the assessment. Now, the next question, please, if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. I'll be answering those questions as well too after the class. Now, the next thing is that what are some of the things that you should consider before taking applied skills? What are the most important things that you need to consider? First of all, the first thing you need to consider for applied skills is your career goal. What is your career goal? So if you are aiming for a career that involves practical application of Microsoft technology, then Microsoft Applied Skills is a great fit. So far you know that, okay, I want to do practical, hands-on Microsoft technology, then Applied Skills is a great fit. Then the second thing you need to consider is a learning style. So if you're someone that preferred interactive, task-based learning, and you enjoy solving real-world problems, then you might find this credential particularly rewarding. Why? Because it's based on you thinking about how to solve a problem based on the scenario that has been given to you. For me now, I don't like cramming things. I have to cram entire learning parts and all that. In fact, thank God Microsoft introduced Microsoft Learn into the exam itself, so that anything I forget or I don't want to cram, I know what to search in the Microsoft Learn and I'm able to get the answer. But personally, I don't like cramming, but I like to solve real world problem, meaning that I like to, okay, this scenario has been provided. How do I solve it? Then I solve with the applied skills, basically. So that is the second thing you need to consider. The third thing that you need to consider is the industry demand. So if you're in an industry, or if you're in a role in which Microsoft technology is actually widely used, then applied skills basically will enhance your credibility, it will improve your confidence, and it will also enhance your employability. Why? Because it is really based on skills, real life skills that you can actually learn. And the last thing that you should consider for applied skills is the skill level. So the credential is actually designed for individual who already have some experience with relevant Microsoft technology. Even though Microsoft is also introducing the fundamental applied skills now, I'm going to show us that in the demo as well, but it requires to have some level of experience with Microsoft technology. So if possible, you are encouraged that if you're a beginner, you want to start with the Microsoft fundamental certifications, maybe SC900, or maybe is it 900, or is it 900, or AI 900, or DP 900, depending. But it is recommended that you have that fundamental knowledge first. Now let's look like what are the structure or the format of the assessment with these apply skills. So I mentioned earlier that the assessment is actually a scenario based, meaning that the skill assessment uses a real world scenarios to evaluate applied knowledge and also decision making ability effectively, because they are giving you that scenario. Microsoft is testing you that how do you apply those theoretical knowledge into solving a real life problem? Then how do you make decision? So it's testing your critical thinking ability. That's something I enjoy about the applied skills, because I'm able to the critical thinking. Okay, this is a scenario. How do I go into the admin center? First of all, which admin center do I need to sign in to solve this problem? After understanding the admin center, okay, which part of the solution in the admin center do I need to configure to solve this problem? So it's a scenario-based question. Then it's actually a practical exercise. That means it stimulates a job task to measure the proficiency in performing a specific skills and techniques. So meaning that you must already have the knowledge, or luckily we have the Microsoft Learn for us, or the Microsoft Doc that is available for us. So you can query even the ChatGPT. Okay, this is a scenario. What is the best way to approach it? Right? The Microsoft documentation is available for you to actually do that. But in the applied skills, it is not available for you. But luckily, it is not a proctored exam. It's an exam that you can maybe on one of your screen, you can open the Microsoft documentation. Okay, this is the scenario. Which solution, as part, which admin center do I need to solve this problem, and which solution do I need to use in the Microsoft admin center to actually solve this problem? And the last structure is a dynamic proficiency measure. Now, in the apply skills, they are measuring what you are clicking. So maybe you are clicking something that you're not supposed to click. They will measure it. You click the wrong thing, they will deduct your mark. So they want to ensure that you are not just clicking randomly in the admin center. You know what you want to click on. So that's where critical thinking comes in. You are thinking that, okay, where do I actually go specifically in the admin center to solve this problem? So if you go and click what you're not supposed to click, it's a dynamic proficiency measurement. They will deduct the mark for you. That means you didn't get the mark. So you have to think about, okay, where should I click next? What should I do next? Otherwise, it will affect your score. So that is actually how it is measured for us. So what are the benefits? Let's go over the benefits of earning Microsoft Apply skills again. Now, for the benefits, we want to discuss how earning these skills can actually enhance your professional credibility and also demonstrate validated expertise in that field, and also support career enhancement for you. Now, earning an applied skills and credential can actually result in a lot of benefits. Benefits could include a practical knowledge. Your experience with Microsoft technology can actually prepare you for a real world challenge. Then also an industry recognition, meaning that Microsoft credentials are actually globally recognized, and you can actually highlight this your skill for your current or your potential employers. Then it can also help you with career advancement. As professionals, we have to earn credential often as an edge to actually for job promotion, as well as salary negotiation. Now, let me break them down into bits and bits. The first one, the apply skill can help you to demonstrate validated hands-on expertise, meaning that you can actually use the apply skills to actually validate that you have the practical skills. So with the apply skills, you are telling your employer that you actually have the practical skills. Give me 1 second. Please, if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. I need to take water. All right. Now, a case scenario is something that happened in with where I'm currently working, right? In a team. I know one of my colleague, it takes this apply skills a lot. one thing I did is that it focuses on two parts of the applied skills, AI and Copilot. So what it does is that it will go to the team and say, okay, I've just completed this applied skills. Now I can take projects around Azure AI. I can take projects around Microsoft Copilot. I can take projects around Copilot Studio. So because he was able to demonstrate that with the applied skills, whenever the team has projects in those areas, they just submit his profile to the client that this person can take the skill. Because at the end of the day, because taking that skill, what it does to him is that it helps him to demonstrate that he is competent to take those skills, thereby leading to his employer, his team manager, his practice lead to say, okay, we are confident in your ability. So this basically validates your skills to reassure your manager, your team that you are ready to handle a real world job challenge. So that is one of the benefits of taking these applied skills. It enhances your professional credibility in your team. Another thing it does is that it enhances your professional credibility. So this is the what credential does is that it highlights your professional dedication to advancing your career in knowledge and also in your field of career. So as a cloud security professional, when you take this now, the credential is actually very significant because you are not just earning this credential, you are gaining the relevant knowledge also. Please, can you mute your mic if you're joining this call? Sorry, I had to mute the person. All right. Then it also tell your employer that you are actually committed to learning, meaning that you demonstrate an ongoing commitment to continual learning and also staying up to date with current technology. Then another thing it does, it tells your employer that you are actually a master of this technology, becoming mastery of that particular technology. It enhances your career growth. So another benefit this does is that it actually supports your career growth and also provide opportunity. So skills enable an advancement in terms of career. You can tell them you can do these things, and the more you do those things, the more you take these credentials, your practical skills is improved, and as your practical skills improves, it you are able to tackle real life problems. It helps you with your career progression. You can demonstrate that yes, with these skills, I'm able to take on additional tasks. Then also, if there are new responsibility, like I stated earlier now, the colleague is able to take on new responsibilities because he was updating himself with these applied skills. The skills open doors for new roles for you. It also opens new responsibility for you. It's proof that you are ready to handle complex tasks, and this will help you with your career progression. Now, how is everything I'm discussing? How is it relevant to us as a cloud security professional? Now, there are a lot of skills in cloud security, right? One of them is identity and access management. Now, one of the applied skills is an applied skills to measure your knowledge with identity and access management. Managing user identity, access control is actually critical. Now, the new security perimeter is not our on-prem network, it's not the data center. The new security perimeter is actually identity and access. So if you're someone that knows how to, manage authentication, you know how to manage authorization, identity and access management, these are relevant skills in cloud security professional. Also, data protection. There's an applied skills for information protections, right? Now, you can secure data through, encryption, backing up to ensure confidentiality, integrity, to ensure availability of cloud environments. So these are relevant skill sets that you will learn as you take those applied skills. And another one is threat detection, right? There's an applied skill for Defender for Cloud, which helps you with early threat detection, help you with vulnerability assessment. It helps you to actually safeguard cloud infrastructure, and also you prevent them from different attack. So it also helps you to align with industry with best practices alignment, right? So Microsoft, there are a lot of Microsoft Applied skills that actually helps you to align with what is currently happening in the industry today. And it also helps you with regulatory compliance support. Now, one of the applied skills I actually love, I've actually gone through the learning part, is the regulatory compliance. I'm going to show us in the demo as well. So with you help your employer or any project you are assigned to actually comply with the industry regulation, the country you comply with the country regulations and anything at all. And these are the things that they apply skills. So any best practices you need to know, apply skills helps you with it. Compliance standards, it helps you with it. It helps you as a professional to meet regulatory requirements, even your organization policies. And I mentioned this also earlier. It helps you to for proactive threat management by anticipating threats early. It helps you to detect threats quickly and also help you to respond to threats, efficiently. So these are some of the things that apply skills can help us as a cloud security professional. So next thing we want to look at is why are Microsoft Applied skills important for cloud security? We mentioned all these things before. It also now threats are actually evolving. It's rapidly evolving. So cloud threats are continuously changing, and it requires an up-to-date knowledge to counter a new attack method. So these skills will help you. It will broaden your knowledge. Okay, these are the areas that cyber threats are actually, cyber attackers are actually releasing different threats. These are different threat vectors that we have today, and it helps you, with mitigating, vulnerabilities as a professional, right? It will help you to mitigate vulnerabilities, and you can easily adapt to different attack vectors. For you as a professional, what are the relevant things that it does for you? I'm rounding up already. It demonstrates to your employer that you are reliable. If I see somebody, if I want to interview somebody and the person has applied skill certification today, I can confidently employ the person because I know that for the person to go through the applied skills, that means the person has a needed knowledge, to actually demonstrate to me that he can deliver on the job. It helps you to establish expertise, certification aligned expertise, and for clients today, whenever they send our bio to clients for any project, one of the things that the clients want to check is if we have the relevant certifications. Why? Because they know that with the relevant certifications, we can, demonstrate that we have the knowledge, the experience, and it will help you to maintain confidence with your employers. It will help you to maintain confidence with your clients, with different stakeholders. These are some of the things that this apply skills does. I don't know if you have questions so far. I'm rounding up with the presentation. Okay, thank you, Busaya. I saw that question. I will answer the question. Right. So these are some of the relevant resources. I will share this slide with us in the community after the training. So there are questions around the apply skills, so that's the frequently asked question. If you click on that link is going to answer those questions for you. There's a tech community blog that I actually saw while I was preparing for this session. I love the blog. The blog was by one of the Microsoft employee. So I added the link also. Then there's an apply skill learning page, which you're going to see shortly in the demo session. And also we explore different apply skills. So there are links as well there for that. Now, for us as cloud security professionals, at the moment, Microsoft has 8 apply skills. 2 are for fundamental levels, while the remaining 6 are for associate level. So we see an apply skill to configure SIM security operation using Microsoft Sentinel. So this particular apply skills will basically help us, you know, to actually learn about Microsoft Sentinel. Now for this one, Defender against cyber threat with Microsoft Defender XDR. So Defender XDR has a lot of technology within it. Defender for Office 365, Defender for Identity, Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Cloud Apps, Defender for Vulnerability Management. So this particular applies skills will teach you a broad range of technology. Then there is this one that talks about getting started with monitoring tasks. So this one talks about Azure Monitor, which it's very relevant as a cloud security professional. So this is one of the beginners. So these two are actually beginner. This is for identity access for Microsoft Entra. With this one now, you learn about Microsoft Entra, right? Authentication, authorization, so different skill sets. Then implementing information protection and data loss prevention. I've actually done this. I have this as one of the applications I've done that I'm actually currently satisfied. So we want to talk about data security, right? That particular applied skills is very, very relevant. Then for implementing retention, so these are Microsoft Purview. So Microsoft retired their SC 400 exams and they replace it with SC 401. Now, this SC 401 exam focuses on information security. So the applied skills, there were 3 applied skills that Microsoft used to replace it. 2 of them, which is the information protection, as well as implementing retention, e-discovery. So if you are somebody who is interested in Microsoft Purview, talking about compliance today, so this applied skills is actually relevant for you. Now, this particular one is relevant if you like Microsoft 365 Copilot. You want to deploy Microsoft 365 Copilot for organization, and you want to consider what are some security compliance, because when you go on a client's call today, one of the things that clients will be asking you are questions around security and compliance, right? Around Microsoft 365 Copilot. So this particular applied skills will actually help you. Then if you want to secure Azure services and workload, so this is for Microsoft Defender for Cloud, right? It will really help you to with cloud workload security. This particular applied skills is actually very relevant for that. So these are the current applied skills that we currently have in the cloud security. Now, in applied skills, you have to actually foster a culture of continuous learning and adaptation. Microsoft added to these skills. There used to be 20 at some point. At the moment, I think they're about 43 or 45. In the demo, we're going to see that. So applied skills, in rounding up for the presentation part of this, promote continuous learning to actually keep you as a professional updated with new knowledge, then also help you to learn and stay current with the latest technology advancement as well as innovation. Then it also help you to educate you on latest cybersecurity threats and best practices. So let's jump into the demo real quick, and let's jump into the demo. I will stop sharing my screen. So let me answer some questions in the chat. I'll stop sharing my screen so I can share again. So I saw a question from Busai. So which one should I begin with? So as a cloud security professional, right, the one I will recommend that you begin with, let me go back to share my screen. Is the one for beginner. Can you please mute your mic if you're joining the call? Please mute your mic. Sorry, I needed to mute this. Right, so to answer your question, let me get my pointer. So this one are for beginners. So I will recommend you begin with this. Get started with identity and access using Microsoft Entra. So we've done a series on Entra ID. In fact, our first 3 classes this year in January, February were on Entra ID, where we talk about introduction to Microsoft Entra ID, identity access and management, authentication and authorization. So go back to that class, go to our YouTube channel. I'm going to share the link to our YouTube channel. Go there. The first 3 classes were on Microsoft Entra. I'm very sure if you go through those classes, right, you'll be able to tackle this. Then each of them has a learning part. I'm going to show us also, go through the learning part. I'm going to share some amazing resources for us also there. Then after this, jump into this, getting started with cloud security and monitoring tasks. This is also for beginner as well. So jump into it and learn about Azure Monitor, right? Then from there, you can now decide that, okay, let me go into the associate one. So this is for SOC, this is for Microsoft Sentinel, this is for Microsoft Purview, then for Microsoft 365 Administrator Security, then for Microsoft Defender. So that's what I would recommend. I hope that answered the question. Yeah, IB. So they are not paid exam, they are free. At the moment, they are free. But I've joined some Microsoft ESI training in which some of the Microsoft staff have told me it is not confirmed yet that Microsoft will start charging for it very soon. Microsoft will start charging for it very soon. Are there still more questions? All right, so let me stop sharing and bring up my browser. So they are free exam. Yes, David, it's better we start now. I agree with you, actually. It's better we start now because as soon as Microsoft start charging for it, that means you have to pay for it. And we don't know how much they will charge, but it's not confirmed yet. So if you want to apply, if you want to assess the apply skills, okay, you have question. Patrick, here, go ahead with your question. Go ahead with your question before I start the demo. Patrick, you can go ahead with your question. Hi, Patrick. Okay. So to actually assess the apply skills on your browser, just type apply skills. So you see learn apply skills credential, right? So if you type apply skills or Microsoft apply skills, you're going to get to a landing page like this that says Microsoft apply skills. So from what I said so far, it's actually prove your job ready skills, right? So IB, you can try it as multiple times. But the only thing is that for the exam, after you attempt it today, you have to wait for the next 3 days. That's 72 hours before you can attempt it again. So Microsoft will give you that time. They give you that 3 days to go back to it and go through the learning part again before you study again. So it demonstrates your ability to complete practical tasks in an interactive experience. It is fast, flexible, online, and it's on your schedule. So it's just 2 hours exam, 2 hours assessment, and you can finish in less than 2 hours, depending on how good you are. In 45 minutes, you can finish it actually, right? So these are different apply skills by different categories. So if you're interested in AI engineering, there's apply skills for AI engineers. Azure administrators, they apply skills. Azure developers, they apply skills. Um, security engineer, they apply skills. DevOps, data analyst, data engineer, database administrator. If you're interested in SOC, security operation analyst, Azure network, so these are different category, right? And it is available to everybody. So if you're an IT professional, a developer, you can take the apply skills. If you're a student, you are an educator, a trainer, you can take the apply skills. If you're interested in changing your career, you want to build a career in Microsoft technology also, you can also take the apply skills. Now, these are different people that have actually taken the apply skills. I'm sure, I don't know if he's on the call. I actually invited Gulod to this call, but I don't know if he's available, if he's on this call, to share his experience. Gulod is somebody that he has taken over 30 apply skills. I mean, it's very, very impressive. And I reached out to him on LinkedIn um, some months back. I just, have you been taking apply skills? How do you study for it? And so he gave me some tips. He told me something. He said there are 24 hours in a day. He said out of the 24 hours, he used 4 hours every day to study. 4 hours every day. I actually invited him to this call to come and share his experience on apply skills. I don't know if he's on the call, but it's fantastic. And you actually have the opportunity to submit your stories. If you do all these apply skills, if you click on submit your story, there's a form that you can fill how the apply skills has actually helped you, and Microsoft can actually feature you on Microsoft Learn the way they feature those people on this. right? And there are lots of resources, right, that are available for you, their support and all that. So let's go back to explore the apply skills. So if you click on explore all apply skills, you're going to see at the moment we have 43 apply skills based on those category that I mentioned earlier, different category. But because we are focusing on security, this is focusing on security, right? I'm going to filter this by security. So just go on the left-hand side and select security. So this will filter to all the one that we have for security, right? So you can basically filter based on subject. So if you're interested in information protection and compliance, you can filter by that, and that will show you. So these are all the ones that are available for information protection. And to answer your question again, Bosayo, you say which one should I start? So for beginner, just select under this level, select beginner here. It's going to tell you all the apply skills that are available for beginner. So if you're the developer, for example, you write C sharp, right? These are apply skills you can take for C sharp. If you are also somebody that you are interested in okay, I've talked about access control. So you want to learn about, you're starting with Azure, for example, now, how to manage stuff in Azure management. So this is an apply skills that you can also take as a beginner, right? You can take these apply skills. So you can filter by beginner level and by apply skills, right? Then if you filter by security level now, so it's going to actually filter by beginner and security for you. So for the entire security, just uncheck this beginner. So this will focus on different security apply skills that we have. I don't know if you have question. Yeah, Patrick, you can unmute your mic and ask a question. You can unmute your mic and ask a question, please. Hello, Patrick, are you there? We have less than 15 minutes to the end of this session before we jump into the AMA session. All right, I think Patrick, so I'm going to take one as an example, right, for the purpose of this class to see how the apply skills is. So I'm going to take the beginner here. Yeah,
right.
Patrick, go ahead with your question, please.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask a question. Even though I missed it in the first time you gave me. Yes, I want to begin by appreciating you for this section. It's been a very wonderful, a presentation on apply skill and Microsoft certifications. Honestly, this apply skill thing, I didn't know this could be, of this importance, but you have really opened my eyes on it. So what I want to ask about it is, does it have expiration date if you eventually acquire the certification?
It's once and for all. The day you get the certification, I'm going to show you on my tenant. There is no expiration date. Once you pass, it's forever on your credential.
Okay. And there are no fees attached at all at the moment,
It's
just as
free
you said.
for now. Yes, it's free for now. But I'm hearing rumors, even Microsoft employee, nobody has confirmed yet, but there's a rumor that Microsoft will start charging for them. So it's better that now that they are free, we take advantage of them.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this one as an example. Let's get started with cloud security and monitoring. So just click on it. So one thing you need to do, you have to, because my browser, my lane is actually, my account is signed in by default, right? So you have to actually sign in into your Microsoft Lane account, right? Once you sign in, so it will tell you Microsoft Apply Skill, get started with cloud security and monitoring tasks. I'm looking at the time, I have 10 minutes. So you can either click on take assessment yet. Once you click on take assessment, it will actually take you down the screen, because actually, so you can actually scroll down. So it's provide a learning path for you. So I always advise and encourage people that, first of all, this learning path is 5 hours, right? Go through each of those learning paths so that you have an idea of the kind of tasks, the kind of questions you'll be asked. So this learning path is 3 hours, which will have most of the question. So configure threat intelligence. So what I usually do, I just right click and open in a new tab. Excuse me. Then go through the learning path. You can see that I've started the learning path I'm not done with the learning part yet. You go through the learning part. Once you complete, take the second one. This is just 29 minutes to learn about Azure keywords. Definitely expect questions on Azure keywords. Patrick, can you please mute your mic? Then Azure firewalls. Definitely you get a scenario for you to get question on Azure firewall. Then configure log analytic workspace. So I encourage go through the learning part. Once you are done with the learning part, another resource that I'm going to share with us is go to github.com. If you go to github.com, so either you have a GitHub account, you don't, but try to sign up for GitHub. It's good to have a GitHub account. Then I'm going to sign in with my GitHub account. I'm not sure if I remember my password again, but let me see. Let me sign in. Oh, great. So in your GitHub, right, you can do something. Just search for the name of this apply skill. Get started with cloud security and monitoring. So sometimes Microsoft will have provided a lab that you can follow also here. If it's not for all of them. So at the moment, there is no lab, but I'm just doing for the sake of others. But now this one does not have lab. So the only thing that you have to leverage on is this learning part. But for every other apply skills, try it. Go into GitHub, search for it if there is a repository. But now there's no repository. But there are others that I've searched for actually, and I could see some repository there. So once you are done going through this learning part, the next thing is for you. So click on this box that says check, or you can just click on take assessment. Take assessment will still take you down the screen, right? It will take you down the screen and you can click on start. Now, before we start, I want to show something also before we start. Now, we have the apply skill resources. So there are different resources available for us here. So you can just go through them. But this is the one I want to show us, apply skill poster. I'm going to right click and open in a new tab. Now, like what I showed us earlier, so this is going to show us different apply skills that are available by category. So we can see apply skills by cloud and AI platform. So everything on cloud and AI platform, like this Microsoft Cloud Management Tax now, is under cloud. So these are the beginner level, right? And these are the intermediate level. For now, we don't have advanced level. So beginner level. So this it's very easy for you to know to go into any of the apply skills, right? Like for example, now let's say I don't know the exam code for each of the apply skill. With this apply skill poster, all you just have to do is to click on this link. If I click on this now, it's going to take me to that particular apply skills. Defend against threat intelligence and Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So let me even try to search for this on GitHub if the GitHub repository is available. So just search the repo, the GitHub. Let me see if it's available. So it's not available, but somebody else has created the resources, a GitHub. So we can just go into this and you will see the scenario. So this will give you the idea of what to expect in the scenario for the apply skills. So it's another resource I use a lot. I use the GitHub resource for the apply skills, right? Yeah. So I've shown us the apply skills certification poster. I'm trying to ensure that we don't exceed the time. So if you click on any of them that you're interested, just click on it. It will take you to the apply skills. If I click on this Azure Services workload, this for Defender for Cloud. Defender for Cloud, we took that in our last 2 or 3 weeks bi-weekly sessions. If you go to our YouTube channel, you're going to see. So it's going to be it's also a useful resource. So that is it. So I've shown us the apply skills poster. I've shown us the GitHub. The next resource that I would like to show us is what we call Microsoft ESI. So if you are working with a Microsoft partner, if you are with a Microsoft partner, or if you are with a Microsoft, if you are with any organization, I will encourage you to go to this URL, esi.microsoft.com. Go to esi.microsoft.com, then sign in. So you will have to sign in with your official email. This call is recorded, so I wouldn't sign with my official email. Sign in with your official email, yeah? If you sign in with your official email, you're going to see different courses that you can take. You're going to see different courses that you can take, right? some of them are applied skills. So you'll be able to take those applied skills. It is a live environment by Microsoft Technical Trainer. So Microsoft employee themselves will take the course. It's a 1-day course. They will take you the course, and they will also give you access to a lab environment after the course. So let me show you an example of, I've taken a lot of this course on ESI. So I have access to some lab environments. So I'm going to sign into my lab environment. So aks.msi/ESI lab is the lab environment I have. So it's part of the resource I personally will leverage on. So I'll sign in with my Microsoft account, which is the same account that is signed in already. So I'll just sign in with my so this is an authentication that is asking me to authenticate. So I've done different EXI training. So these are the lab that they provided for me. So defend against cyber threat, and this one I attended it yesterday or Thursday. I can't remember again. Okay, I attended it on this was the day I attended it, June 2020. So these are different. So if I open this now, so this is another resource that you can leverage on. So it's a lab environment, right? That you can also leverage on. It's not the applied skills that you'll be taking, but it will give you an idea of what the Microsoft applied skills are about. So it's going to open a lab environment. So while I'm waiting for that, so let me I just remember it to take a while. So once you click on start, it will tell you that we notice that you have not taken you have not completed your learning. That means you have not completed the learning part. That's what it's telling you. But if you have completed it, will not tell you this. So either you say start training, you want to complete the learning part, or if you have completed the learning part, I'm sure it won't show you this one. Then just click on yes. So once you click on yes, it's going to provision an environment for you like this. But there are some verification you have to do. There's some verification you have to do. So while I'm waiting for this verification to come up, I will go to the lab environment. So this is the lab environment that I got through the Microsoft EXI. And this lab environment is available for you for 6 months. It's available for you for 6 months. So practice and practice over and over and over again before you now take the real assessment. So you have to start this puzzle. It's always so annoying for me. You have to start this puzzle. So once you complete this puzzle, I don't think I'll have the time to complete this puzzle. So you say 5. So look for 5. Any stone that is 5. This is 5. Submit. All right. I have 2 more minutes. So I'm trying to ensure that it shows how the environment looks like. Yeah. So if I click on launch lab here, so the same way. So this is actually how it's going to show us too. Whatever I'm going to launch in there. So this is my practice environment. So let me see this. So it will take several minutes actually to open, right? But this is how it's going to launch for us. So they will provide resources for you. Let me be sure what is happening. Maybe it's applied skill. So this will take time. So based on your internet, it will take like between 30 to 1 hour before it launches, right? So let me go to the one I launched before. So just to show us how it will look like. So it will give you, so there will be some instructions for you to follow. There'll be a downloaded lab file that you can follow, but that's not my focus. Instructions are the lab environment. So it will tell me I need to sign into this environment because that is taking time. So already there's an admin. So this is admin username that will sign in. So I need to sign into the lab, the password. Just let's click on it. It will fill it automatically. Then say enter or click on this. So this will show you a lab environment, right? And there will be instructions for you to follow. So let me scroll down, just click on next here. So it tells me I have 3 hours because this is the demo environment. So these are the instructions. They will tell you, prepare the Microsoft environment. So this one is actually telling me step by step, but the real exam will not tell you the step by step of what to do. It will just give you a scenario that the city you have been employed in an organization and the CTO asks you to perform this task. Maybe the first task they say is apply, they'll just tell you apply Microsoft Defender for preset policy. So you have to think, how do I apply this policy? So the step is here for you, right? For you to apply. I'm not going to do this. So I'm just showing you how it's going to be. Deploy Microsoft Defender, but they'll not tell you deploy Microsoft Defender for cloud. They'll just give you a scenario. What you need to do is to deploy the Microsoft Defender for cloud. So I'm very sure it's going to take a while, right? Configure the device build. So I'm going to stop this because I'm not doing this lab. I don't want to do it now, so I'm going to end the lab. Okay. Right. So like I mentioned, this is going to take a while. So it's still loading the lab, right? So the lab environment has actually loaded. So the same way, I need to sign in. So they'll give you how to sign in with your account here. So just click on it, the username, then click on password, click on the password, right? Then go to next. So you're already in the lab environment. So they will now give you a scenario. What is the scenario? Email message. So just open the email message here. So this will open. I want to show us. Madam Joy, sorry, I'll be taking like 5 more minutes before we start the second session. So the email has been downloaded here. So this is the email on the desktop here. Click on the email. So I will encourage you to use 2 screens, right? So this is the instructions for you. They will tell you how to log in. So they'll tell you to log in into the Azure environment here. So the Azure environment, they've already provided with the username. Just click on the username here. It will fill in for you. You don't need to copy and paste. Click on it. It will fill in the username for you. Then say next. Then it will select the password here too. It will just write it for you automatically. Click on sign in. So you're already in the Azure environment, right? Now you need to go into this email. So you have to go through each of this. So it's like your inbox. Scenario I mentioned earlier that they will send you an email. Your city will just send you an email that perform these tasks. So there will be a guidelines. You have to read through these guidelines that we have several terms. We have several terms that need help gathering security related information, blah blah blah. Read through it. So they now tell you each of the tasks. Say this is your task. You need to perform the following tasks to configure monitor of your environment. Configure this. So you have to follow this task one step at a time. So the first task is this: create a Microsoft Defender for cloud environment. So we have hired a third party to evaluate a current security practices. The third party has requested that we gather Microsoft Defender for cloud reports so that you can have a better understanding of your current environment. Then I say this is your task. What is your task? You need to create a CSV report that contains Defender for cloud recommendation. Save the CSV report to this particular location. Note, switch to the classic view before you perform the task. Times, project management. Your work now will not be, now think on how do I achieve this task? So create a CSV report. Are you seeing it now? That is your task. You need to, that's where it now takes your critical thinking. Unlike the lab environment that showed us earlier, it was showing me step by step what to do. But this is testing your critical thinking. That how do I create a CSV report? Now, if you go after completing it, you go next. So you can mark it as completed. Once you are done, you now go next. The next lab is then I say you need to perform the following tasks for Azure Monitor. Update the action group associated with the RG alerts rule. Send the notification to this, then add this to the scope of this alert rule, then remove this from the scope. So you have to now think, how do I achieve this task? Then next, once you are done, so like enable key one, this thing. So they will tell you what to do. Once you are done with all the labs, so it's something you can do within 1 hour, but you have 2 hours to complete everything. Then once you are due, you now say complete. Say thank you for helping our team perform the basic security monitoring tasks. Once you are done, just say mark this complete. Then you submit the assessment. So it will take around 1 to 2 minutes. They will grade it. So everything you are doing is in your Azure portal here. So you have to be doing all the tasks inside the Azure portal. So that's why I recommend you using 2 screens, right? Because you have to take, so the first screen is for you to, you can just screenshot what is in this task, paste it on the other screen. That's what I do. I just screenshot my task, paste it on the other screen. Then I'll now go into my Azure portal. So instead of going through this changing this tab one after the other, I'll just be on this tab and I'll be performing the tasks. Please, do we have any question? Do we have any question? Please share recording. Yes, the recording will be shared for the session. So you have to follow us. Please, if you're on this call and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please help us subscribe to the channel. Then we'll be sharing our YouTube link and every other link. Please, do you have any questions? So because I didn't take this assessment, I'm going to cancel the assessment. So if I cancel the assessment, so what it says is that cancel the assessment counts as an attempt, but it will not be scored, but you'll be able to take the assessment. So if you don't pass the assessment or you cancel the assessment, you have to wait for the next 72 hours before you can try it again. So I'm going to cancel this. So once you submit it, you just give it the time to load between 1 to 2 minutes. Your results will just pop out. So how would you see your results? You just pop up your results, and if you want to see your credentials, you just go to your profile. Once you go to your profile, click on your credentials. Once you click on your credentials, so under apply skills, you're going to see that you have earned the apply skills. So this is the only one I've earned so far, but I've attempted others too. These are others that I've attempted, but most of the time I didn't complete it. Maybe I needed to do something. I'll just close it. But these are the ones I've attended. So you'll be able to view your credential here. So this was when I earned the credential. So it doesn't have an expiration date, and you can share the credential, right? You want to share on LinkedIn, in your LinkedIn profile. You can share on your Facebook or LinkedIn profile as well, right? So that is the ending of my session. So in conclusion, what Apply Skills does is that it validates your practical expertise. It helps you to grow your career. It also helps you to meet security challenges. Thank you so much. So if you have questions.
Yes, please. I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead with your question before we start
All
the
right,
session.
please. There is something I didn't get, clearly there regarding the issue of where to do this assessment. Is it on the platform they will provide for you, just as you said that they'll provide you with the environment in which you will work, or on your own Azure environment, on your own profile in
Not
Azure?
your Azure. They will provision the environment for you. They will provision the environment for you to do. So once you go back, let me go back here. So once you are here, so let me see, I want to start this. Let me pick another one that I know I'm not doing anytime soon. So let me just pick this one. Once you come here and you sign in, you must have a Microsoft Learn account. You sign in, just click on Take Assessment. Once you click on Take Assessment, on that here, you see, you check this box. Then just click on Start. Once you click on Start, to tell you that you've not completed the learning, ignore it. Say yes. Once you say yes, the environment will be provisioned for you, a lab environment. So you need to verify your account. Do a puzzle. Once you do a puzzle, a VM will be spin up for you automatically. It is in that VM you perform the task. Ensure that you don't just click randomly, because they are checking things that you are clicking. If you click something you're not supposed to click, they'll be marking you down. They'll be marking you down. Any other question, please? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, please, guys, if you have question, please, it's a good time to ask.
Yeah, sorry, please. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much for the lecture and the insight into the applied skill.
Thank you.
My question is this. I used to have Azure account,
Okay.
but the account is disabled now because it's more than 30 days for the free account. So what is the best way to reactivate their account so that whenever you're working, you have access to the Azure environment to be able to practice or do things?
So you cannot reactivate the account again after the account has been after the 30 days. The only thing you can do as a workaround,
okay,
there are a couple of things you can do. One is that you have to create another email.
Okay.
And use that to get another account. Another workaround is that you can register to become an MCT. One of the benefits that Microsoft gives to MCT is a Microsoft Visual Studio subscription, which you can use for to practice on Azure. So those are the only two ways off my head now. Or through your employer. If you're working with a Microsoft partner, you can tell them if you have a demo subscriptions. Some organization used to have a demo subscriptions, right? So tell your employer that, okay, if you like to improve your skills in Azure, that do we have a demo or a test subscriptions, and they will grant you access to it, and you can practice also. My organization does that for us. We have a demo subscriptions, right? A virtual studio subscription that we can use to practice, to practicalize, to test out things, to play around. So it's a break and fix environment. You can break things and fix things. Yeah, so those are the only three ways. I know there's a fourth way, but there's no, I don't need to say that in this call. I mean, Microsoft MVP. So as a Microsoft MVP also.
So how do you register as MCP and MCT? So that's, I think that's.
Yeah, we can we take this offline? Can we take this offline?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Then I'll contact you. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Patrick, your hand is still up. Is it an old hand or a new hand? Do we still have any question, guys? Is a session clear? Is it clear for us? All right, I want to thank you very much for listening. So we'll be going into our second session today, which is our AMA session, Ask Me Anything or Cloud Security. So earlier in the week, we dropped a form. If you're still interested, maybe you're shy to ask questions, but I don't think you should be shy, right? I joined a training during the week with a Microsoft technical trainer, and there's something the guy said. He said, it is okay for you to say, I don't know. And I learned that I've been using that thing, but it didn't stick to me. When I started my new role, right, I was having an imposter syndrome. In fact, this is part of a discussion we're still going to have in our future session, talking about imposter syndrome, right? I was having imposter that, can I really do well in this role? Can I do well? So I was trying to do a lot of stuff. But it got to a point, I realized that when I lead projects, lead conversation, I realize that even people don't even know what I know. So most times when people ask me, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know this, but I will find out. Or if you do know, can you tell me? So it is okay to say I don't know. And I want you to realize that that is what this committee is all about. We're not here, we are here to learn from one another, right? We're not here to tell somebody that you're stupid, that you're fool, you don't know those things. No, we don't bring people down here. Rather, we inspire people, we motivate people. So it is okay for you not to know. So that is why we created this session. This is our town hall session. We don't know when we're going to have the next session, because me and Madam Joy, we've been thinking about this, that when can we have this session? When can we? So we had to even beg the trainer for this session that, okay, please, we need to have this session today because I'm available today. From next week, I'm not even available, right? So, right. So let's jump into the AMA session. So we have some questions that have been asked, right? So we have Madam Joy on the call to help us to answer some of the questions. And if you have questions too, please feel free to use the chat. So I will go through the question one after the other. So the first question that we have is this. This is, please, I want to ask first, please, I want to ask, must the first security associate certification that I should collect be it 500, as I want to get job real quick, or I can start from any other certification like SC300 and SC401. Even me, I want to get job real quick. So this is the first question we have, man. What is your take on this? Somebody wants to get job real quick. Please, if you want to get job real quick on this call, can you use your reaction button? I want to see how many people want to get job real quick. Let me know where with us. Or you can use the raise button. Raise button. If you want to get job real quick, can you raise up your hands? Use the raise button. Ijoma, yes, I can see you. Oh, it's only Ijoma and me that want to get job real quick. Okay. Let me see how many people want to get job real quick. Okay, just so we can see you, Patrick. All right, yes, we can drop our hands. So it's not only the person that was asking the question. All right, what's your take on this, man?
Okay, there are so many moving and interesting parts. Can you hear me, please? Let me
Yeah, loud
be
and
like,
clear, loud
yeah,
and clear,
okay.
loud and
There's so
clear.
many moving parts and interesting parts in this question. One, I want to get a job real quick, right? So this person wants to get a job and this person wants it to be quick, right? And then the person has now asked, right? The bone of contention here is to get this job really quick. The person is asking, must I first write the security associate set? Simple answer is no, right? However, the concept of certification is a strategy. Certification is not a checkbox to to a confirmation that you will get a job. I personally struggle with writing certifications because I don't like exams. I write certifications because it's required by my organizations, but I don't like them. Right. And that's my experience. I have the likes of people like Emmanuel who motivate me whenever I see them post their certifications. In fact, Emmanuel is one of the people I've never told him that once I say, oh my God, I never write this certification. So I want to run to write it. Right. However, if you are the place in your career where you're trying to show capability, show competence, show skill, show experience through certifications, then that's your strategy. It's not necessarily because you want to get a job real quick. The approach to getting a job has to be a defined strategy. If you're looking for a job, you have to have a strategy. And your strategy could now be that I want to get certifications. That could be one item under your job search strategy. And then that certification will now be what is relevant to the role that I want. Because if you're looking for a job, you have to have a strategy. And that's why many of you feel burnt out, because when you're looking for jobs, you don't have strategy. What many of you do is you sleep, you wake up today, you say, Kai, the last 2K in my account, where is the next one going to come? So you jump on LinkedIn and you apply. Then you kind of feel pumped up. Maybe somebody brings a small hustle for you, or one auntie dashes you money. You forget. You remember another 3 months later that you need to apply. You apply. You have no job strategy, right? That's why you kind of feel like it's not working. So to this person, taking AZ 500 or any other certification should come under what your strategy is. If your strategy is that I want to look for a job as a cloud security, and the jobs that I'm applying to, they have said that these certifications are requirements, then you now put it as your strategy to get them. There are some jobs that certification is not a deal breaker. So it doesn't become your core strategy. It might just feed into what you do to amplify your knowledge and show that you have this capability. So my answer is that no, getting certification would not get you a job real quick. It's not. However, it can be inside your to-do in your job search strategy. I hope I did answer that well.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I mean, you don't need certifications. What you need is a knowledge, right? Then if certification is not part of your job role, maybe your employer. Today now I'm privileged. My employer give us voucher to write certification because as a Microsoft partner, to improve their partnership level, right? So they encourage all of us to write certifications. And also, whenever they submit our bios to clients for any projects, one of the things the client is checking is our credentials. So we must have those certifications. So, but certification is optional. But what you are bringing, the value you are bringing is actually what is important. And like what Madam just said, your strategy is actually very, very much important. I didn't start writing security certification until, let's say, last year, even though I've been in the field for over 9 years. I started writing certification maybe 2019, 2020, but security certification was just recently that I started writing it. And for me, because I said, okay, for this year, I want to have a mind store of certifications, right? Cover the entire security certifications. So I've written like 6 or 7 of the Microsoft security certifications, just and one more that is left. And my employer is paying for it because it's part of what I needed for my job. All right, thank you so much for that question. Let's move to the next question. So the next question is that do you have a structured step-by-step guide on how to become a cloud security engineer. Kindly give us guidelines and best practices. You can hear your kids at the back.
Yeah, so to like that's why I share with people that my life is real. I'm a mother and I'm pushing this, and if I can do it, right, I believe that anybody can push themselves reality. So I like this question. Do you have a structured step-by-step guide on how to be? Because yes, indeed, you cannot distinguish yourself without having a structure and a guide. So I will share my own guide, and 1 minute, please, guys.
No worries.
So I'll share my own guide, right? My step-by-step guide is simple, right? One, where am I today? Why do I want to do this thing? Why do you want to become a cloud security engineer? Do you want to become a cloud security engineer because you feel it pays well? And that's not wrong. I'm just saying why. Do you want to become a cloud security engineer because you want to be able to solve, complex problems and provide solutions to organizations as they all transition into the cloud? Do you want to become a cloud security engineer because the world is moving to the cloud now, and in another couple of years these are skill sets that will be in high demand? You have to have a why statement. I say to everybody, your why statement is what is going to help you when the going gets tough, right? To look back and say, this is why I'm doing this. This is what is the reason that motivated me to do that. That's always my number one. Number two is cloud is big. There's so many cloud infrastructure. So I always recommend, even though I know that if you're on an entry level, you don't want to limit yourself, right? However, even if you're not limiting yourself in an entry level, it's always good to have that focus on which area of cloud. So you can see that our community is very specific. We are Microsoft cloud, right? And that's how they are. So, and it's very intentional that you identify with a cloud provider. The reason is that so that you don't get burnt out. There's so much technology out there. You want to start small and then you can expand as you are growing, because whether you like it or not, these cloud platforms interject, and many organizations are multi-cloud. You will see them have different cloud environments, but you want to be able to say, I want to upskill in Microsoft cloud and then I will now expand. So you want to identify, I call it a cloud security provider, where you will learn around their cloud infrastructure so that you can grow that security competence around it. That's it. Then you want to identify your transferable skills, whether you like it or not. To excel in security, you have embedded in you skills that will help you stand out. Some of us are very good critical thinkers. If you put them in a room and they're listening to people talk, they can spot the missing links. Some people are very good, at configuring things. If you tell them, give them a procedure, they will do it to the detail. Thereby, they can help you find where the fault is in your process, right? Because they will follow things step by step to the later. And once something is not working, they are very good at. Some people are good at, so whatever it is, you want to find out what that your transferable skills is. Most times when people want to go into security, they think that security is something that you are born with. Security is only leveraging on existing skills, right? For me, why have I done well? When people ask me, I pay attention to details. I'm somebody that pays attention to I can be sitting here and I'm hearing somebody talking 3 blocks away from me, and I can hear the person say something, and I can turn and say, this is your problem, fix, do this. I pay very close attention to this. That's why I function better when I listen versus when I have to write and all that. When I listen and talk, I can solve multiple problems like that. And that's what I enhanced that now made me start doing well in security. So that's another third step. Write down. I always tell people, for your transferable skills, I have this exercise I give people. By the time you've written it out, it will help you match it out to how it aligns to your cloud security engineer skills. And how would you do? Go online and look for jobs. What are your dream jobs? You should have a dream. You should say where you want to work. Maybe there's a company you've admired, right? I had always wanted to work in Deloitte when I because I did my intern, my CWAS program there, but I didn't graduate with a 2-1. And back then it used to be a big deal if you didn't graduate with 2-1 or first class, right? It's not like today where they are not valuing. There are people with first class still struggling. But back then, if you graduated with 2-1 and first class, it was presumed that you were a hot cake. And I didn't graduate with a first class or a 2-1. So I struggled to go back to Deloitte. it was their standard then. But then, so what did happen was that I started looking for companies that I aspired. So, and when I look for them, I would look for job roles there, and I would look for what they are looking for. And I started working on myself to get those things. So I might not have the 2-1, but I had every other thing that they were looking for. I had built on my courage, my charisma, my other soft skills. I was proficient in Microsoft Word and Excel, way behind. I use it very competently, very good in research and critical. So I harnessed those things. So I would say, and once you have identified, again, like I said, your why, then you identify the cloud security provider. Look for list out what you identify as your core skills, and then look for the cloud security jobs that you're interested, and you will see the skills that they're looking for there, and then match it to say, which skill do I have and which skill don't I have? Now, when you see the skill you don't have, which will be mostly technical, then you will now build a structured learning plan. Then you will now be like, okay, I like cloud security, and they are talking about Defender for Cloud, and I don't know what Defender for Cloud is. So you know what? In the next 3 months, I'm going to invest in myself to study Defender for Cloud. And like Emmanuel has shown us, you can now put part of the way I will prove that I have understood it is that I will do an applied skill. Are you seeing it? And then you can now worry about certification, because certification requires financial investment, and you might not have that right now, but you can see how you've tied that. So at the end of 3 months, you would have completed your Microsoft Learn on Defender for Cloud, you would have done an applied skill, and now you'll be ready to go back to that job. Maybe that one has gone, but a similar job, and now you are ready to apply, and you will see that you are now competent. And like the first person asks, then you can get the job real quick.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know some people will be wondering that you are a data protection and is manager and is a solution architect, and yet you didn't graduate with 2-2. My story too. I was never an A student. I was never a B student. I also graduated with 2-2. I didn't graduate with first class or 2-1. But today I'm in the big four. So with the skills, whatever you graduate with doesn't really matter. Can you deliver on the job? Can you solve clients' business problem? Can you translate technical thing into business value for clients? That's what organizations are looking for today. Thank you so much. I hope we've been able to get a structured step-by-step guide on how to become a cloud security engineer. So the next question we have, so this is going back to something you said before. What certifications are relevant and what kind of projects can one do?
Okay. So again, on certifications, again, once you have identified the cloud provider that you want to master in, just so that you are strategic in your job search, because remember, everybody is looking for this job. The way you're looking for the job, 10 other people are looking for that job. What stands you out? What's going to be different, right? What's going to be different is now how you interpret and showcase your capability. And that's where projects come in. Because if I write AZ 500, you write AZ 500, it's not going to put our score there. It's not going to say you got 700, I got 550, right? 600. It's going to say we both passed. You get what I'm saying? So what's the next thing? It's now how you showcase, your knowledge, and that's through projects. So what kind of projects? Again, a lot of us are doing things that we're putting out there that can help you, but think around, how do I solve problem? Guys, I feel that this generation is lucky with the likes of AI, right? Go into any AI tool that you use, whether ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and say, assume the role of so for example, remember I said look for the kind of company you want to work. So for example, if your interest is to work in the retail industry, if you have if you have concern over the retail business and you're seeing lots of gap in the whole supply chain thing, and you're concerned around how can we secure this whole retail industry, every time people are getting hacked when they use their card on the retail platforms, they are getting compromised. How do we ensure enhanced security, right? Then, if that's your interest and you've been searching for a job around the retail industry and you want to show capability to anybody in that retail space to show that you have the skill set, you go into your ChatGPT and say, assume the role, of a whatever senior executive in a retail industry. You've been recently compromised and you are looking at how to ensure that you can secure environment. What will be the skills that you'll be looking for? What are the projects you will put in place to ensure that I get in it? Now tell it, create this in form of a project base. ChatGPT will give you hands down project. and then you take it, and then it will even help you tell you how would you solve this as a solutions architect, and it will tell you what the solution is. Then you will now go and now deploy it. So it could now tell you, oh, the architecture for this is that the front end should have a web application firewall, right, sitting in front of it, and then if there are API connections, it should have an API management that will secure the keys, and then it will now tell you maybe sitting on top of that, you should use a managed service account so that you can manage and ensure that all the keys are stored in the key vault. I think when it says all those things, you will now go and now start deploying it. By the time you're done, you take that and you now showcase your learning. Visibility is 100% in the world we are in, right? Just the same way, if you go to all these social media platforms, people are dancing, shaking everywhere and getting coins and getting gifts, right? It's the same way we in the tech industry, visibility. People need to see what you have done to show what you're, to show that you have the knowledge. So take that project you've done and then create maybe a 5-day plan to talk about it. Today will be around how to use key vault, how to store credentials in key vault. The next one will be how to create managed service account, because remember, you have now practiced it, right? And then the last one can now be a step-by-step on how to secure an e-commerce website to prevent in alliance with PCI DSS compliance, blah blah blah. That's it. Once you put that on your CV as work experience, that's what it is. Tomorrow, if a Tesco is looking for somebody to secure, what Tesco is looking for is somebody that can help them secure their website, right? And ensure that they do not get compromised. That's what you have done. E-commerce is e-commerce. Whether they call themselves Tesco, Primax, Eban, or ShopRite, is all retail services, right? What you have done is you have applied that concept and you have shown that you have the capabilities. So to answer what kind of project, look for projects that relate to real life scenarios, look for projects that relate to business sectors and company sectors, and how can you find that? Leverage on things like ChatGPT to give you that scenario base, right? So that you can do it.
Thank you so much for that. I remember as a mentor for the Platform Explorer organized by Joanne and Rachel, our MVPs. As a mentor, one of the things I tried to do, the project, because the Platform Explorer is actually project based. All I did was just to go to ChatGPT. These are the scenario. These are the project I want the student to do. Can you create a scenario for me? And it's created a scenario for me. So with that, I was able to now fine tune it into what I want exactly in human form. Then I share with the students. So for each of the week, they have a scenario they are working on, and they're documenting it on their GitHub. So the step by step of solving that business problem, because it was a business problem. So we wanted it to translate into a technical skills. So we were not teaching them in Platform Explorer, rather we were giving a scenario, let them work to perform critical thinking, think about how to solve that problem, then document the steps on how they solve the problem. And they will also defend what is the approach, why did they take the approach. So those are the things that we did in that Platform Experience, which I think is actually relevant with what you mentioned about leveraging on ChatGPT for scenario. And in the chat, I drop a link for people that really want to actually, you're looking at Microsoft certification. Let me quickly, before I jump into the next question, let me quickly bring that up to my screen. So Microsoft has a Microsoft certification poster. Let me zoom in into the security part of things. So we are really looking into security career, right? So Microsoft has this certification poster for you. So under security, you can start with the SC900 first, which is a fundamental, right? That will give you a high level overview of the entire Microsoft security ecosystem. So after understanding that, you can now determine, okay, like what Madam just said, which career path, which area of security do I want to go into? Is it cloud security? Is it SOC, security operation analyst? Is it identity and access? Is it information security? So there are different areas of security, right? So that will now inform the next certification that you should write. Because today I do cloud security, so is the 500 is relevant for me. Today I don't do SOC, so I never had SOC certifications, but I plan to have it because I plan to cover the entire security tracks. So that's the only one that is actually that I've not actually written out of the security tracks, right? If you want to go into identity and access, country like Canada, they just knowing I am alone, Entra ID, Okta, seal point, just things on identity and access, you have market there for skills. Country like Canada, even the US, they are market for identity and access. So this certification is relevant for you as a security professionals. Then information security is a new certification that Microsoft used to replace the old one, SC 400. That's for Information Protection and Compliance Administrator. So with this certification now, you want to go into becoming a Microsoft Purview consultant. So it's a very relevant certification for you that you can actually leverage on, right? Learning about different solutions in Microsoft Purview, from data loss prevention, compliance manager, audits, and all those things, right? These are skill sets that are actually very relevant in cloud security. I just let me add that. I've dropped the link also in this chat in the chat, the link to this particular certification poster. All right, let's jump to the next question. Yeah, this is very interesting question. When I saw the question, I would like you to address the part of it of DevSecOps. Is there any need to know DevOps? Very, very interesting question.
I would say when you say no, that word, is there any need to know, is subjective, right?
Yeah.
Today I can give you a high level explanatory of what dev operations means, right? But I'm not a DevOps engineer. However, I know what it entails because even my foundation is around infrastructure application integration. And so as a cybersecurity architect, if I want to be able to fully operate in my capacity, I need to have an idea of how things happen. So that when I come into, for example, I come into an environment where there's a need for a security visibility from a dev cyber security architect perspective, and there's a DevSecOps there. I want to be able to challenge maybe their decision around certain things. So if I don't know it, right, it will be a struggle. So knowing in this instance is not knowing it that I am an expert. It's not knowing it that I want to become authority, because that's not your niche, right? But you will know it at the high level because you want to be able to, as a security person, understand the possible ways by which this environment can be compromised. And so you want to be able to make the right recommendation. So if you're saying you're a DevSecOps, you don't want your dev guy to be bossing you around or tossing you around, right? And claiming that the way he has done something is right. You want to be able to say, this is the security requirement here, or this is what needs to happen here, or this is why we are seeing this thing here because of this way you have done this thing. So I would say you need to have a basic understanding. It's like with AI now, right? For we who are in security, we want to secure AI. Imagine we don't understand how AI works. Imagine we don't understand what language models are, and we don't understand what prompting is. How we explain prompting injection, how we explain all of these things that we're supposed to secure. We won't be able to, but it doesn't mean that, we are now going to say that we are AI engineers per se, right? But for us to be able to stand as security resources to the whole AI infrastructure, we will start by doing our basic AI, 900.
Yeah, I think we lost Madam Joy. She's still here. We can hear you. Madam Joy, we can hear you. Hello? Hello? Okay, while we're waiting for her to come back, right? So when I saw this question, right, it was very interesting to me. Why? Because I'm currently on a project as a security architect, and the project involves me working with application architects, developers, DevOps, finance and operation developers. Who else? Who else? Yeah, I think that's about it. Application developers that does integration of the system and all that. Now, I lead as a security architect on that project. I lead every security conversation. Things like I tell the developers, your code repository, where are you saving it to? What is happening in terms of identity and access? How are developers? Who has access to the code? Those are the conversations I lead in the entire thing. The application architect. Okay, your application, there's an integration with this application and this with this, there's an integration between this application and this application. What are the security requirements? Are you meeting the security requirements for that integration? So I had to list out, okay, ensure that if you're doing your integration with this and this, these are the best practices, right? So I created a security baseline that they must follow. Okay, your API keys, it must be stored in an Azure Key Vault, right? Your Azure storage, the keys. So I have to do all those things as a security architect. So because I'm working with you as a DevOps doesn't mean I don't understand. I understand how the DevOps process works, the CI/CD pipeline. So I'm responsible to ensure that the pipeline is secure, everything is secure before the code is pushed out to the production. The security things any security best practices that need to actually happen. I ensure that I'm actually guide in that light. So for a security person, it's actually a good thing that you have an idea of what the DevOps guys are doing. For an infrastructure guys, have an idea of everything so that you will be able to basically, help and support any project that you find yourself. Yeah, Jay, you can ask a question.
No, it's me. I wanted to let you know I'm back with my
Okay,
phone.
okay.
I don't
All
know
right. Welcome back. Yeah.
yes, so I had to
Welcome.
use my.
No worries. It's fine. So you can continue. I was just giving them
So
my
I
own
don't know where
scenario.
they left me, but like I said, that I would recommend that you have the basic information that will allow you function as an authority in as a DevSecOps, right? You do not want your DevOps guys to toss you around because you don't have an understanding of how CI/CD pipelines work and all of that. You want to be able to authoritatively say this is how we need to secure this environment, secure the operations. And so the only way you can do that is have an understanding. They are still the subject matter experts, but you from the security part would come in as your own subject matter expert. So I would say, yes, you need some basic foundation. I think I was also speaking around how to look at, for us to secure AI, we are going to learn the AI foundations. We're going to learn how AI engineering is. Why? Because we cannot speak to the security of AI infrastructure if we don't even understand how LLM models work, how these open AI integrations happen. And the only way we can do it is get that foundational knowledge. So I would say, yes, you need at least the basic. It's not a mandatory, but it helps you stand out. Remember, the goal here is to be different. The goal here is to be exceptional. The goal here is to be the most preferred because everybody is doing it. So what makes you stand out is that extra knowledge and skill that you show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next question because we still have a couple of more questions. So this person is asking that, is it possible to do all this as a cloud security DevSecOps without knowing any language? If no, what language would you recommend?
When I saw this question, I was confused. When the person says language, is it like programming language?
Programming languages.
Okay.
Programming
If
language.
you're on the call and it makes you feel any better, I don't know any programming language.
That makes it the two of us.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't know any programming language. I have tried and tried. It just not sinking in my brain. Maybe I'm not that smart. I don't know. But it just doesn't work. Now, don't get me wrong. If I see a code, right, I can read a code to an understanding and decipher because even from university, we did simple things like, if then statements and all of that. So
Yeah.
I have an idea. But to be able to say I'm learning the language, even as easy as PowerShell scripting is, I have a notepad where I save all the PowerShell scripts that have worked for me, that I have gotten from other colleagues all over the world. Once they give me a script or I see a script somewhere, I use it, it works. But I don't save them for my notepad. I can now maybe tweak, but I cannot come and tell you I know this. When you hear people say, oh, let me go and develop a script for this. So you do not need any language to excel in the securities, but is automation good? Yes. But look at what AI is doing for us. AI is helping it even much easier, right? We are now automating things without even actually knowing the language. So if your core area of interest does not put the skill set required as for you to advance in that part, um knowing a programming language, then you don't need it. Now, where I operate, my skill sets, or rather this pathway that I have chosen, I don't need to be an authority in any programming language, and that's why I've survived without it.
Thank you so much. Like earlier last month, I think I shared some solution I was building on security monitoring solution I was building. And I built everything without writing one script of code because I had GitHub agents to do it up for me. I just write a prompt. I want this thing to be done. And the thing write the code. I don't even understand the jack of the code, but I'm able to understand once I read the code, okay, this is something that is wrong with this code. I need I'll even prompt, okay, this is your code that you've written. Can you improve on it? Right? So that's the power from engineering. So I didn't know how to code. Now the project is becoming more bigger because I've added a lot of functionalities, a lot of capabilities into the project without writing any single line of the code. So knowing code is not a prerequisite to becoming a cloud security professional. Thank you so much for that. So let's pick the next question. We have two more. Um, this person says, I have a 900. Is a 900. What is the next training for me to take for the cloud security pathway?
Okay, I will go back again to how we started. Why do you want to do cloud security? What's your interest? So, for example, if your interest is around security operations, if you like to see how threats are flying everywhere and how they are throwing up alerts and how you triage how they have behaved in an environment, and and be able to say how did this thing happen? How did this? You mean this PDF file that came in here now is a malware? Wow, you want to see how is it malware, how did they embed in it malicious injections that allow sub processes to run. If that brings curiosity and interest in you, then security operations is where you want to create. And if you are in the Microsoft space, then you want to, after you have done your SC900, which introduces you to Security Operations Foundation, and AZ900, which does for Microsoft Azure, then the next thing you probably want to go is your SC200, because then you are now specializing, right? If where your interest is how people always, why are they saying that they compromise somebody's password? How is it possible for them to compromise someone's password? Why can't we secure people's sessions? How are people able to be able to not pay attention to their login details? How can I even know in an organization, and how are they able to know 10,000 users? How do they know different people, that this person is not this person? That whole curiosity. Then identity accesses, right? So the next thing you want to do is SC300. So looking at that link that Emmanuel has pasted for us that talks about the different certifications, you want to do a little 20-30 minutes research that aligns with your why. That's why I say, what's your curiosity? What gets you excited? What do you want when you're talking about it? It brings out life about you. When I talk about cybersecurity and what I do, people around me automatically want to do what I do. They think is that easy, but that's how it should be. You should be infectious with with this. It should come out from you. Once you know that, then you can now build that. I call it your certification roadmap. So you've done SC900, good foundation, AZ900. The next ones are specialized, which has to tie to your why. What do you want to be known for? And once you have identified that, then you'll be able to pick out which of those other certifications should come next. So it's not something, there's no one size fits all answer for it.
Thank you so much for that. So for me, my why was cloud security. So I just focused on what I need: identity and access, information security, Azure security engineer. So you have to have a why. Your why is very, very important. It's very, very important. Awesome. I think that is like the last question we have from all the questions. So if anybody's on the call, you want to ask a question, please feel free. We still have about 12 minutes before the end of the session. If you have questions, please feel free. Do we have questions? Are we okay? I mean, this session is actually organized so that we can ask those questions that is bothering us about the cloud security, because over time we see questions going inside the group chat and we are like, okay, we need to have a session to really address it. So those questions that you have, this is a good time. If you don't want to unmute your mic, the form is still open. You can still use the form and drop your question and I will pick it from there and I'll present it if you want to remain anonymous. And I mentioned earlier, it is okay not to know. We don't know everything. Madam Joy does not know everything,
Not at
but
all.
we try as much as possible to see how we can support the community. In fact, that's the very first reason why both of us volunteer. And I can tell you, even the lead of this community, I can't even remember the person again. I just remember that they call for volunteer. Me and Madam Joy volunteer 2023. Now on our leadership group, the lead person that called for volunteer, I can't find him. He just put me as the admin. I was like, how come I'm the admin of this group? I don't understand. So that's because we are passionate about the community. We're passionate about giving back to the community, seeing how we can help ourselves. There are a lot of opportunities out there, but we have to prepare ourselves to key in into those opportunities. If you don't key in, and how to key in is through this community. Sessions like this that I just have, 1 hour, people are paying thousands of dollars for it, just 1 hour sessions, just to hear all the stuff, right? People are paying a lot, and the community we're bringing it for free. Given our time, Madam Joy has key that she had to look after, right? I have a lot of things on my to-do list for today. I share with somebody on this call. I look at my to-do list for today. I was like, is it like 3 weeks to-do list? I said, no, that's things I need to achieve before the end of the weekend. So if you have questions, you can use the form. You can drop it to the chat. Feel free, just share it. We are here to address all questions. So we still have like 10 minutes to address every question so that you won't go back in the group and say, oh, how do I do this? Oh, how do I do this? Oh, how do I do this? You know that you are getting everything live and direct in this session because we don't know when next we're going to have this session because Manager is a very, very busy person. I'm also a very, very busy person. I have to just sacrifice today. After this class now, I have another class immediately after this class that I'm joining, that I'll be taking. So, and the person I'm taking is on this call. He paid heavily for that class because it's a one-on-one mentorship.
So, Emmanuel, why people are thinking if they should ask? This is one of the reasons why when we decided to have this AMA, the whole idea was we want a situation where, as far as Nigeria is concerned, right, the Microsoft security ecosystem is still scratching surface. We don't even have strong presence. It can be seen across. If you go to MVP, we're barely there. How many people compared to other solution areas? Meanwhile, Microsoft technology is heavily used in this part of the world, Nigeria. So the question is, we want this community, people in our community, to be subject matter experts, to be authorities. And the only way we can do this is when we join our experiences together and support you. The essence for this call is to say, what are you struggling with? Where are you struggling? How can we help you? We need you to land that job. We need you to excel in that job you're doing. We need you to be an authority and subject matter expert in what you're doing. We need to be able to also mentor that young people as they're coming out, show them. One of the things that drove me to do what I'm doing is, like I said, I wasn't an A student in school, but I knew that I could be different. I knew that while the school grading system did not give me A, it did not mean that I was not intelligent. It did not mean I didn't have anything to give back. So I made a commitment that as I went up the ladder, I was going to make sure that every other person coming behind made life easy, right? I have somebody that I mentored back then in Nigeria. For those of you who work in bank, you know that no matter how good you are, you will still follow the hierarchy of ABO, ET, and all those things, right? So the number of years it took me to become a BO, I crashed it by 50% less for this girl to become a BO, right? In the history, no experience, fresh graduate came out. By the time she became a BO, it was less than what I took. So I took like 7 years or something. She took like 2-3 years, right? And it gave me joy, right? And she still, technical knowledge wasn't as knowledgeable as I was, right? But she was able to break the system with what she knew. And that's why we're here. So the whole idea is to empower you guys, empower even ourselves, because as we're training you, we're training us. I was telling Emmanuel that for every time I have to teach, I have to quickly go back to go and read to make sure that, because Microsoft changing, Microsoft keeps changing, so that you're not sounding still. Even as Emmanuel, there are some
Sounding
new,
outdated.
yeah, there's some things Emmanuel is saying that were new for me, and I'd already noted down I'm already planning my 2026 calendar of training and all. So I'm like, okay, this one I'll do this and this, because this year is already locked down. There's some things I cannot even feed in and lie to myself I want to do. But that's it, right? That's what this community does. So I'm encouraging you to sit back, say to yourself, I want to be different. I want to be exceptional. I want to be an authority in this industry. I want to speak. I want to lead. I want to configure. I want people to know me, that I know this thing well. Say to yourself, believe you can do it. The only thing that is stopping you is you. So right now in your room, in your closet, in your car, wherever you are, I need you to break out from that fear, from that worry. You can do this thing. And it doesn't always have to be certification. So I understand that we're in very nice financial times, right? So you don't have to, if you don't have money to pay for certifications, that's fine. Keep it one side. Manu just showed us how we can leverage on applied skills to showcase our skill set. And that's why we're here, to help you, to empower you, to get everybody off. We don't want to hear anybody in the community doesn't have a job. We don't want to hear those kind of things. We don't want to hear I'm still looking for a work. Rather, we want to hear people saying I'm doing multiple jobs. In fact, I'm dropping deals. We want to hear people post and say, who can do this job because they came to me and I don't have capacity to do it. And I want somebody in the community to do it. That's where we want to go to. And those are reasons, further reasons why we're having this kind of sessions. So if you still don't have any question, I just want you to know that from our heart out to you guys, our goal and ambition is to see that the Microsoft security community expands to where we start holding our own conferences, where we start pulling, attraction from other, senior Microsoft, stakeholders into our community, where we are getting subject matter experts out of our community. And the only people that can do it is you sitting on this call, you who has believed and stayed with us here, and we know you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have Yahaya. He has a question. Yes, Yahaya, go for it, please. Yahaya, Obaka, you can unmute and ask a question. Yahaya. I'm not sure he's on the call. Maybe that's a miss and by mistake. Guys, we have questions. The floor is open. The floor is open. And just to inform us, we'll be planning something, but we're not sure yet if we're going to have our conference this year. But we're putting together a team of volunteers. People in the community are volunteer to support us. So if you want to be part of the volunteer teams, right, I'm happy to have you on board so that we can plan things. And the first priority is, first of all, we had a meeting this morning, the people that have volunteered to help us to build and manage our websites. So we had a very short call this morning to gather the requirements so that we know what it's going to cost us. Then the leadership team can now discuss, okay, this is what we need to put together to build this website. So you are still, if you're good with any skills at all, you feel you can support the community to manage our social media platform, anything, manage our programs, anything, we need more volunteers. The reason why it is very, very difficult for myself and manager to be on the score. We have to close down some things to be on the score. I'll be honest with you. And the community cannot just cannot grow with just two of us doing the work. That's why we need more people to support. Emmanuel, Oyimafu, and Stephen Osonuga, they've been there. In fact, if not for the two of them with Madam Joy, I'm very sure all the programs we had this year so far for our bi-monthly events won't have any. Why? Because I cannot be there every single weekend. So that's the reason why when both of them volunteered that, they would like to help moderate some sessions and speak in some sessions, I was very happy. In fact, that was even what even gave me that go ahead to create the calendar and share with Madam Joy that, okay, this is what I think we should do for this year. And these are the people that will be helping to also coordinate each of the sessions. So if you're willing to support the community, to volunteer your time, it's going to be 1 hour, 2 hours, your weekend, 3 hours in a month. It's all well and good. The goal is that we are able to drive at some things. We are looking at a lot of stuff, creating security content, having a blog as part of our website where we have different security content, both technical topics and non-technical topics. Like a session like this now, I can just, if you as a community we had a blog now, I'll have just done a summary of everything I presented, everything we discussed, both the question and answer question that Madam Jo asked. We'll just put it on the blog that people, it will be visible to the world out there that this community is actually doing something. We are impacting lives. So if you are open to volunteering and if you're not part of the community, you can let us know also so that we can drop the WhatsApp group so you can join the community as well. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You say you're finding it difficult to unmute. I think I'm not sure I'll be able to also do that. Okay, Oyewale, you can go ahead. Oyewale, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening.
Go ahead, you're talking on mute, sir. Come back to mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, once again, good evening, Nigerian timing. I want to appreciate everyone. Emmanuel, thank you very much for all the insights. Also, actually a nice one. And Madam Joy, thank you very much. God bless you for your insights, your advice, and, more of the pathway on knowing your why of where you want to specialize in. So I will just use this to actually use my own line of challenge to raise my question. Now, for me, in as much as yes, I studied something that had to do with like computer science, but I've not ventured into that. I've not been able to practice that since I graduated. I diverted completely into another line, which have to be fleet management and logistics. But along the line, I've been pulling out different courses and training that have to do with IT because I actually wanted to transit completely. But I never had that opportunity to or put all those things into practice. Like we have to say that internship for me too. So before you now know it, everything starts to fade away one after the other, time from time to time. Yes, because if we look at more of my certifications that I see, I have more certifications, over more than 5, 6, 7 certifications in IT compared to the fleet management and those logistics that that is bringing food to the table. But anytime I do all those things, um, after a period of time, it's as if one is becoming empty again. So how can you advise on the best pathway I think one can stay stick to this, and if possible, maybe a suggestion on where one can, if it's having an internship to partake in, to at least based on where you can actually now fall and fit into where I want to be. Thank you.
Okay. Emmanuel, do I go
Go
first?
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Okay, I like this kind of use case. It'd be a perfect way to end today's session, right? Because you have a typical use case of people who have built career in a particular pathway and want to move into tech or security, and they think that they need a special internship again or special training to achieve this. No, if all your years you've done, um, I just went blank. Sorry. What was the pathway again? You said sorry. Um,
Fleet management.
Fleet management.
Fleet management. Thank you. Thank you. If all your years you've done fleet management, you are an authority there. You need to write your skills. What are those skills? So if it is fleet management from organization planning, what are the things operational wise? So you made sure that cars were booked on time. You use the system, right? Today, people are not doing fleet management with paper and biro. They're using fleet management with a system, meaning that there's going to be a database, meaning that there's going to be an application. People will log in with username and password and they'll be able to book. That is an application. So you where's your interest? Every time you log into your portal, what gives you curiosity? Is it understanding how to manage the roles and assets that people need so that they don't get too many assets? That has been a concern for you, that you are seeing that in this whole fleet thing, every time there's confusion, people will say, oh, somebody made a change to something, and there's like, how can somebody make a change that we cannot find? Or is it around that the application today is up, tomorrow is down, and it's never stable? And so your curiosity is, how can we get a stable system, that can allow us to do this, our fleet operations end to end successfully? Or is it that tomorrow they will say, oh, the database was corrupted, so we cannot see 2 years ago record? And you're like, are you meaning that we've lost customer information? Doing this, your fleet management with technology, what gets you curious or what gets you annoyed that you're like, if only I knew tech, I would know how to fix this thing? That thing forms your why. I have a client who is in car sales, Nigeria, selling cars. When he wanted to go into tech, I said, whenever you go and do those auctions, what's curious about you? He says he's always interested in how they're able to make their bid, and then the whole thing he was just trying to explain. I said, so that's it, right? So you want to understand the whole process around this, right? I said, so if probably you had to manage, what would be this? He wants to manage, how people gain access, how they're able to make sure that when you bid for a car, right, there's no alteration in it, it's secured. So I said, you want to understand understand the security around the user access, the user profiling. I said, so the first thing is let's even get you to understand confidentiality, integrity, and accountability of information. Let's even give you the foundation of what data protection is, what data on the, then it begins to spoil your curiosity, right? And he started from there. He did his ISC2 and he got interested in, he was like, oh, so this is what risk means. Oh, this is what data protection, this is what confidentiality means in the tech world. As he's studying that ISC2, he was playing his autoplay application in his head. Every time he went to bid for a car, it's a big boy in the car industry. Every time he went to bid for a car, he was now imagining, okay, so this would be possibly what would have happened. This is why they say we cannot do this on the portal, or this is why I cannot even do this. So back to you in the fleet management side, what you can be able, because it's you that can do, we don't know that story, we don't know that part of your life. You know it. You know what gets you upset or gets you excited. It's two things. Your why could come out from a place of anger that there's a gap here I need to fix, or it could come from a place of curiosity, and that's what will now form that passion and your why. And then you can now step out and say, so now I know I am interested in how applications are secured, so I'm going to build a career path around application security. And so we can now build a pathway and a learning, and you will see that it's not far. So for every time you're still doing your fleet management, you're learning your application security or whatever it is around applications, it will be aligning for you. Now, how do you practice it? Because you've not yet gotten, you're not going to leave your job. We don't recommend people to leave their job that is feeding them and just jump into empty waters. What it will do for you is that you will start applying skills. Those are the things that led people like Microsoft to create this thing called apply skills. You start to apply your skills, right? There are so many online videos that we can use to apply skills in the fleet management side. Now, once you have gotten those skills, you will now switch for how you are looking for a job. You will now start to look for tech job in the fleet management industry. You won't go far because you have experience about how fleet works. Now you have gotten your tech education, right? You will tweak your CV. So if your role, for example, in the fleet side was fleet operations, you were responsible for how the cars come and how they are assigned to, I'm just making this up, how they are assigned to different departments and how the drivers book in and book out and make sure that, the fuel is there, the petrol is servicing, that whole operations. If I needed to get your CV customized and probably your area of interest was around, even without even any area of interest, just because you have studied the foundation of cybersecurity and you have studied the foundation of maybe an Azure identity, I would say responsible for managing the operations of users, right? While adhering to security standards, or responsible for providing level 1 to 2 support for end users while adhering to data protection standards. Again, I could come back. The fleet management is under, I think, is under NIST framework. That industry is under NIST. NIST now governs it. So we could come back again and say responsible, right, for user access, because you are responsible for the drivers. The drivers are users. It's a persona in identity. We won't call them drivers, call them users. Responsible for user access, right, in adherence to NIST framework. Once you put that, you have not lied. You understand how to manage user operations, their users, and you have probably been learning your MS 900, and then you've learned your AZ 900, and probably even done your SC300 because your interest is in identity. So what you are saying to anybody is that if you put me in IT, in a fleet management organization, I understand the type of users. So if you sit in that team, for example, and the auditors come and say, the standard for NIST says that you must be able to differentiate between your different types of users. You will be able to advise your organ and say, yes, sir, the fleet operations, we used to have drivers, we used to have offshore, we used to have, supervisors, and these people will need this kind of access. So I think we need to classify them. Your boss who has experience, you say, oh, that's good. So maybe we are going to use an extension attributes. You didn't know what extension attribute, but because you understood the operations, you gave something to your boss who has more experience, and he was able to come up with a solution, and that's it. I don't know if I've been able to connect the dots for you. The challenge we see most times is that people want to live the life of experience they've had and jump into tech, and that's why they struggle, because they can't understand 12 years of my life gone, 10 years of my life, I'm struggling. No, my brother, Go back on ground. Find what excites you or what angers you in your existing fleet management process that has propelled you to say, I think technology can solve this. And then be able to build your why statement. Your why statement can be up to 10 things. And based off that, you will come back into the Microsoft portfolio and you say, I'm going to learn about Azure, MS 900, AZ 900, because they're the foundation. Let me even understand what cloud infrastructure is. And then you can now go back and now say, this my why. Is it around the infrastructure, or is it around the identity, or is it around the applications, or is it around operations, or is it around email security, and then is it around device security? And that will align you to your specialized skill. And while you're doing that, you will now flip your next strategy to, I will start looking for tech jobs in the fleet industry so that my skill set can be summarized into technology that I have learned without losing my years of experience. I hope I've helped you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that's a very long way. Appreciate that. But lastly, please, I don't know if I want to ask, I don't know if it's going to be more than a request, I can say. With what you just said, I don't know if it's something that I can send you privately, at least just to help me review that of the CV aspect. I don't know if I'm asking for too much.
You're not asking for too much. I always give free 30 minutes. Even on my portal, I have a free 30 minutes
So that's the
session.
free 13s you're getting after that.
I
You
always
pay.
it's on my bio. Anybody who is confused and needs help, I always give free 30 minutes. By the time I'm done with you in free 30 minutes, you have things to go and run with. It's now when you need me beyond 30 minutes that I begin to give you my rate card. But free 30 minutes, I believe if I sit in a session with you like I've done now, I like to draw and I like to explain it. You see the roadmap. For me, is picture. Visualize what I just said. You're not leaving the fleet industry. Except somebody who tells me I don't like the job I'm doing. It's shit. That's fine. Then we say, okay, what do you like? As long as you've been working somewhere 5, 10, 15 years, it means you enjoy the job. You just want something more. I meet a nurse, I meet a doctor who wants to move into tech. I'll tell you, I said, you understand the nursing operations, data security, what spurs you, what triggers you? Is it the medicine? Is it ensuring that medicine are aligned with compliance? What annoys you? Is it how people's doctors and patients' files are not kept confidentiality? That's data. We'll be able to see how to transition you without changing and throwing away your years of experience.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate it once again. Thanks.
We have one more question from here. Maybe this will be the last question we'll take today. So yeah, hi, I seen that I'm an IT enthusiastic. I started my learning career with CCNA, and having gone a little deeper in it, I then developed interest in Microsoft parts of IT and started learning with Azure Fundamental Certification and Security, Compliance, and Identity. Now, my question is, how do I become a cloud security engineer, leveraging the opportunities of this community and the training that I had?
Again, cloud security engineer is a big word. What in cloud
Yeah.
security engineer do you want to do? It's what we've been saying. Again, I'll say, go and write your why. You want to do cloud security engineer, what in cloud security engineer? And it's fine if you say you don't know, but it's just that, I like Azure. I've studied about Azure and I want to be able to manage Azure environment. So that's infrastructure in cloud security engineer. Or I'm curious about how user accounts are created. That's identity. Or I want to understand this SharePoint and OneDrive that people are using. Or email. I'm interested in phishing. Every time they say phishing emails, I want to know how do we protect ourselves. That's email security. They're all inside the whole cloud, right? Database. So push yourself a step up by asking yourself, what I've done these trainings when I was reading this thing. When you are reading these things, there's so many modules, but you have the one that gets you excited. You have the one you just breeze through. Which one gets you excited? And that becomes what you can use to build your niche. How do you leverage this platform? We have lots of trainings on our YouTube channel. Leverage on it. But like I said, I always tell people that the paper planning for me is what will help the learning because there's so much information on the internet. We're not training you, we're not creating new courses. Everything is online. We're only just coming to help you simplify it. So you need to first of all even have a plan. Use the SMART framework to create a plan. I want to be a cloud security engineer. Good. What part? Anything around infrastructure excites me. Anything around email, then good. Then what kind of job? I always tell people, what's that your dream job? Go and start researching it. Yes, because you don't have experience, so you look for the internship side or the analyst side of it and see what experiences they have. Then you now say, what are the gaps? The gaps is what will help you define your structured learning plan. You must have a structured learning plan. You must have it. One of my mentees, zero experience, studied psychology in school. Very smart girl, but psychology. Came out and said, I want to be a developer. I like to code. I like to see applications and I'm curious. And I say, okay, go and look at different languages and come back. Say, I like Java. So good. I say, okay, let's fine. Go online, do your research. What are the different courses and modules around Java? So we came back and we came up with 6 modules. We put timelines, 3 months this. As I'm talking to you, a girl with zero knowledge. This is 1 year. It's because it's confidential. She sent me a video. She's being priced at close to 1.5 million per month now. When she got her first job, which was 150, she was shouting Jesus, calling me. I was laughing. That was before, after COVID. By the time the Jaguar syndrome moved up and people were losing technical people like her were just cooking themselves and preparing themselves. She moved from 1 year and in less than 6 months, she got an offer 500. In 1 year, she's going to be like 2 years by the end of this year. People are poaching her and putting on the table, I have 1.5 to pay you. I have 1 million to pay you. And she's afraid to take the job because she can't, she's saying, Joy, is that how it is? I say, no, it's not how it is. It's because she put the work. You have to do a little bit of work of what do I want for myself? When you lie on your bed, where do you see yourself? I see myself as an authority in cybersecurity. I want to be able to empower as many women in Africa because it was tough as a woman doing tech in Nigeria. It's not easy. All you guys see us as we need to be in the kitchen cooking. So it was tough sitting in the office with men chauvinists. It was hard for me, but I survived. So I said to myself, for every woman who wants to do tech, I will support you. I will help to see that this journey is. I want to be an entrepreneur, and the only way I can do it is to keep excelling. So that's one of my why. One of my why also is that I have seen lots of men give up on this journey because they just feel like they don't know. I want to show them that if I'm a woman, I can do it. You can also do it. So how do I prove to them? By being excellent again. That's another why, right? I'm in Africa. I know that we have potentials, right? So even though, right, I am not in Nigeria, and that's why I say my story boldly. I was poached. I didn't get my job today because of Jackma. Company says, I like your CV. Somebody has told us we can work with you. Do you want to work with me? I make boast of that story, right? To say to people, that's how we are. You will build yourself to people start looking for you and say, please come and work for us. You have what we're looking for. That's my motivation. Now, because I need to be able to speak with this passion and zeal, that's why I read at night. That's why I back my children. And as they're behind my back, as I'm talking to you, I'm trying to make semo now for my 1 and 8 months old. She likes obono soup and semo, by the way. And I'm trying to make it as I'm talking to you, my headset, right? And as I'm doing it, I'm like, I have to be on this call. Why? Because there must be one person I want to leave this call today saying to themselves, I will do this and I can do it. I need one person, and that's okay, who lives on this call and say, because of the call on the 23rd of August, my life changed. My understanding and thinking changed. And today I'm a successful cloud security engineer. So you have to have a why. So if you don't take anything out today from us, like Emmanuel has said, very busy. I have a call that is going on since 6 o'clock. I will soon, but because I'm not speaking, I'm just attending, which I have to attend. But I'm key here because I always say to Emmanuel, when I hear some people put something, I say, Emmanuel, do we have people in the community struggling? Why? And Emmanuel said, he used to get DMs. I said, no, Emmanuel, we should be fulfilled when we have empowered people to be able to be as successful as we are. We say it to ourselves all the time. I said, that should be our goal. Forget any other thing we're doing. We get MCT badge, we get MVP badge, we get all that. I said, we must help our brothers and sisters to be successful in this journey. I said, because the opportunity is massive. Forget what's happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is great. The opportunity is massive. Technology is not going anywhere. That's how you know the opportunity is massive. We're already hooked. It's not going anywhere. The internet is not going away anytime soon. And as long as it's not going, guess what? Your job is relevant. So don't give up on yourself. How do you crack the code? Strategy. Strategy. So do one thing this night before you sleep. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I want to be known for? What do I want to talk about? What do I want to be passionate about? That will propel us to come up with a strategy. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the session. It has been an amazing session. Yeah, we might not be able to take your question. However, if you're in the WhatsApp group, you can drop the question there. And just to inform us, I don't know yet if our bi-monthly session will happen by September because of some logistics that we need to do as a leadership team, because we need to re-strategize on things based on feedbacks I've been getting from people. We want to re-strategize, basically rebrand our community, do a lot of stuff. We want to get a lot of things ready. So, however, if there's going to be a session, it will be communicated to us via the WhatsApp group. But as I'm talking to you right now, I don't know if there's going to be a session, but I know that by next week, the leadership team, we're having a meeting to plan to re-strategize about the community and see how we can provide more value to us, bring more value to us in the community, because we have volunteers, we have people that's ready to volunteers right now, and we're looking for more people. So we want to see how we can leverage our individual skills that for people that are volunteers, how we can leverage on those skills to, make the community better. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in today's call. We sincerely appreciate you, and we are grateful for your time. We know we are over 20 minutes, but I believe somebody has learned something. So if you have actually learned something, can you use the reaction button? Can you use the reaction button so that I know that this session wasn't just a waste of your time? Can you use the reaction button to appreciate Madam Joy